Hello and good morning. Let's take a look. We're in week 7 here, and what we're doing here is translating, and the first one is reflection. So let's take a look. So I want you to reflect over the line y equals x, and when you reflect over the line y equals x, you switch. Let's make sure you know what that line looks like. Y equals x is a 45 line, and you switch these. So A prime would be 4 and -2. Don't change them. B prime would be -5, and then put the 6 last. Okay, so switch only. This one right here, I want you to reflect. It's a composite. Reflect over the x-axis first. Well, when you reflect over the x, you change the y. So if I change that, I'm going to get A prime is going to be -2, -4, and B prime is going to be 6 and 5. I change the y. And then if I translate it, I'm sliding it over to the right 2, so I'm going to add 2 to my x's, and I'm going to subtract 1 from my y's. So my new point, and we'll say A double prime, is going to be 0, -5, and B double prime will be 8 and 4. Make sure you understand that, okay? That is a composite, a reflection, and a flip, and a slide. This one right here is a double composite, and or a composite rather, and we're going to add up the x's. So this one plus this one is going to be a -2, and then this one and this one is going to be a -6. Real simple, okay? What is a reflection, a flip? Okay, so if I take this and I want to reflect it over that axis, it would look like that. It would be a flip. Okay? A translation is a slide. So if I want to translate this, I would just slide it over, and then I'd slide it out or slide it down. That would be a translation. Okay, let's keep moving. Today, put away your bell work. You have some EOC review questions. So on a new sheet of paper, put that heading on your paper. October the 4th is the scheduled day for you guys to take the EOC. It's going to be a practice, but all the scores are going to be posted outside my door, okay, with no names. And your score is going to be posted on Focus. It's going to count as a grade. So if you're all the way at the top, keep doing what you're doing. If you're in the middle, try to do a little better. If you're at the bottom, then you definitely need to start paying attention, because this is practice to get you ready for the end of the year. So let's take a look. Let me write some of these up here. So I want you to copy these down. Number 1, draw this diagram. Okay, draw that diagram. The question is, what can you say about angle A and angle B? Well, they're both complementary. That box means 90 degrees. So they're both complementary. So complementary to the same angle, 30 degrees. Therefore, those 3 dots mean therefore angle A has to be congruent to angle B. Write that down. That's a theorem, actually. 2 angles complementary to the same angle or equal. Okay? And they both have to be 60 degrees because they have to add up to that box. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is similar, although it's supplementary. So here's angle A, and this is 20 degrees, and this one is 20 degrees, and here's angle B. What can you say about angle A and angle B? You can say they're congruent because they're supplementary which is 180 Superman, to the same angle. Therefore, they're congruent. So angle A is also congruent to angle B. And in fact, if it adds up to 180, this has to be 160 degrees. Both of these are 160 degrees. All right, so that's a conjecture. All right, let's keep moving. Here's another one, number 3. Write this down. Pay attention now. Angle X and angle Y are supplementary. One angle measures 5 times the other. So one of them is 5 times the other. Okay? What is the complement of the smaller angle? So what is the complement of the smaller angle? All right, so copy that down. All right, so first of all, let's talk about these two angles. So supplementary means they add up to 180. And one angle is 5 times the other. The question is, you don't know what the other one is. So one of them is x, and the other one is 5x. Write that down. See, it's 5 times the other. We don't know what the other one is. So whenever you don't know, you use x. So one of them is x, and one of them is 5 times that. So both of these together add up to 180. So 5x plus x adds up to 180 degrees, which is what supplementary means. Okay? So there's a 1 right here, so that gives me 6x equals 180. So x has to be 18 divided by 6. X has to be 30 degrees. So if x is 30 degrees, 5 times 30 is 150 degrees. So I have my two angles. But the question is, what is the complement of the smaller angle? The smaller angle is 30 degrees. So the complement of that angle has to be 60 degrees, because complement means 90 degrees. That box right here. So it's kind of tricky, but there it is. So your answer would be right here. The complement would be 60 degrees. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to get started. All right, so let's see what's going on here. We'll do one more, and it's right here, and it's number 5. These questions are on your sheet on Canvas. So number 5 will do. So we did all this, so we know. It says if the measure of this and the measure of that equal 180. All right, well, let's draw that. Now, if you can't see it, don't sweat it, because I'm going to draw it. So put number 5. 180 is a line, so draw a line. Okay? And then you have two angles here. Put some dots. It says TRI, so TRI is this angle here, and CRE add up to 180. Let me think about that. All right, so they must be using a different one, but they're saying that TRI is congruent. They're saying this one and this one are congruent right here. So forget about the diagram. If they're congruent, then they both have to be 90 degrees, because 90 plus 90 is going to equal 180 degrees. See how it says they're congruent? What can you conclude? They're both 90 degrees. So both right angles. Okay? So there it is. And that's all the EOC review for today. If you want, look back at this video and learn these. Here's today's work. Okay, just so you know, we're doing this worksheet today on translations. And translations are easy, because all you do is slide. Okay, so look here. All right, so number 1 says write the rule. And here, I'll make it a little bigger so you can see it, okay? So watch and listen. So this one says 5 to the right. That's your X move. So put a 5 right here. And then 1 unit up is a +1. If it was 1 down, you would put a -1. Okay, that's the rule. Now you got to locate where these points are. So point G is -3, it looks like, and then down 1. That's what point G is. Point T is -1, -1. Okay, and then finally B looks like -3, and then down, I guess that's 5. So we'll say 5. So down 5. So now that I have my points, I'm going to do my move now. So I'm going to add 5 to all of my x's. So when I add 5, I get 2 here. All right, and I'm going to add 1 to all of these, I get 0. Okay, so when I add 5 to the t, I get 4. And when I add 1 here, I get 0 again. And then finally, when I add 5 to that -3, I get 2. And when I add 1 to this one, right here, I get -4. Now you can double check my points here, but now you got to graph it. So if my points are right, and we'll know in a minute, we're going to go over 2 up 0. That's this one. Over 4 up 0. That's that one. And then over 2 down 4. So over 2 down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my new one looks like this. And let's see if this is right. So this is G prime. I want you to label it. T prime. And B prime. It looks right so far. So what we're doing is we're sliding it over 5. That looks like 5. And then we're sliding it up 2. Now up 2 should be a little higher than that is what I'm thinking. Because that looks like it's only up 1. So let me double check my points on this. Okay, so the rule is 5 and 1. We got that. And so we added 5 here. And we got 2. We added 1 there. We got 0. I mean, all that looks good, but it only looks like it moved 1 spot. Okay, so -3, -1 is correct. And I'm going to stay with that. I will put a little question mark and I'll come back to it later. But that's what I want you to do. I want you to write the rule right here. See, it says 1 unit to the left. That's going to be a -1. I want you to find out where those points are. And then I want you to use your rule for each one of these and then write the new points and then graph it. Okay? So that's what you're doing today. So work on this worksheet. Let's turn our attention now to MCR class. So if you're at home and you're looking at my video and you think it's kind of confusing, well, this is MCR class. Okay? So if you're in geometry and you want to learn something, that's fine. Keep watching. If not, then do your worksheet. So let's take a look here. We're trying to solve this equation for y. Okay, so there's your bell work. So we're going to solve this for y. We're going to draw a line and circle the y. We're going to move this over here. So we're going to get -3y equals 3x plus 3. Then we're going to divide by -3 like this, and this cancels. So I get a -x minus 1, and we're done. Let's go to this one. This one you're going to draw a line. You're going to move the 5x over here. So you get -y equals 5x plus 21. We're going to change all the signs. So y is equal to -5x minus 21, and you're done. This one right here says solve for x. It's the same thing, but they want x this time. So I'm going to move the y over here, because sometimes you are going to have to solve for x. I mean, that's just the way you're going to do it. You're going to divide by -3, each one of these, and you have to make sure you understand what I'm doing or ask questions. So I get a -y minus 1, and there it is. There's one more, but I'm not going to do it because it works the same way. I want to get started on the lesson. So on a new sheet of paper, copy that one down. You were taught how to do the substitution method. It's just a question of whether or not you really learned it. So today, I want you to learn it or bring back your memory here. See how this says y is equal to all of this? Circle this and put substitute. We're going to substitute that in place of that y. See how it says y? So we're going to scratch that y out. So it's going to be 2x minus 3 times my substitute. And I'm going to use a different color so you see what I'm doing. Okay, so I got my substitute in there. You can scratch that y out, okay? And then equals -1. And then you work this out. And you got to be careful. So you get 2x minus 3x plus 3 is equal to -1. At this point, you add those up and you get -x plus 3 equals -1. So now you get -x equals, you move the 3 over here, it becomes a -3, so you get a -4. You change all your signs and you get x equals 4. Once you get x, you go back, step 2, and you plug it in here. Scratch out the x and put 4 minus 1 is 3, and that should be the answer. And that is called the method of substitution. And that's what we're doing today. All right, so right here, copy this one down. Here are the steps. We're going to work it together. So steps. Number 1, get x or y alone. And you get to choose which one you want, x or y. Okay? So in this case, this one has a number, this one, those are bad choices. This one is the one I'm going to go for. So I'm going to get x alone in this case. So I'm going to move this over here and I get x equals 2y plus 11. That's my substitute. Okay? Step 2 is substitute. So you're going to take this. You don't want to go to the y into this equation. You want to go to the x because that's what it says. So scratch out the x and you're going to get -7 times your substitute, and that's 11. And then, let me see where I'm at. -7 times your substitute minus 2y equals -13. There it is right there. You're going to distribute. Okay, so once you substitute, you're going to solve that. Okay, so in this case, I get -14y minus 77 minus 2y equals -13. Let's see how this works out. This gives me a -16y equals, I'm going to move the 77 over here, and that's going to become a plus 77. And when I subtract that, it looks like I get 64. And then when I divide by -16, I think that goes perfectly. So I'm going to get y equals a -4. So right here, where it says y, I'm going to put a -4. Okay? So now you go to, after you get one of these, step 4 is plug in to the substitute. So my substitute is right here. So I'm going to scratch out the y and put -4. That gives me a -8 plus 11. 11 minus 8 is 3, and I'm done. Yeah, it's a little bit of work, but that's how you do it. Here's your worksheet for today. I have number 1 worked out, but I want you to redo it on a separate sheet. And there it is. So you got 10 of these, and we'll do some more work on this tomorrow. Have a good morning.